all the emotions just burst into me. I don't know. I started crying. I just started hyperventilating, but not because I was sad, but because I was so excited. And I didn't realize what kind of change I'm making before actually going on that last plane and stepping off of it. And it was such an amazing moment. Try to control my emotions, but once I got into that car and actually saw my host family in real time, in a real place, not on the phone, not on the computer, it was crazy. I just burst out crying and they were so confused. They were like, "Why are you crying?"
Hello and welcome to this episode of Life Exchange Stories of Understanding. I'm your host, Kelsey Ross, and today we are joined by an extra special guest. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself to the listeners?
Hello everyone, my name is Dominyka McMeel and I'm an exchange student from Lithuania, a small but beautiful country in Eastern Europe by the Baltic Sea. And I came to the US because I was really curious and I wanted to see more of the world and basically experience what it is to live in the big US.
Thank you so much for joining me here today. I cannot wait to hear more about your story and hear more about your beautiful country of Lithuania.
So Lithuania, we're a very small country, but we have a lot of nature and we have a very strong community because in history we've been through a lot together. That's why we're very united. And actually being abroad makes me realize how much I appreciate my country and how much I love it. And I love it here, but also cannot wait to go back.
I can imagine. So is studying abroad something that is common in Lithuania?
I don't believe so because I've actually never heard of it. And lately, I received a email from my school about this program that it actually exists. And I started to research and actually found out that it's really not as popular as some people might think. But I'm really glad I got this opportunity.
And this program that you're talking about, this opportunity, I know what program you're talking about, but for the listeners who may not know, what opportunity are you talking about?
So I am in the FLEX program, which stands for Future Leaders Exchange. And this program is a scholarship, so it is fully funded by the U.S. Department of State. Basically, the flights and the placement organization, which is YFU, is all funded, and my host family are volunteers. So I'm extremely grateful for them, and I'm extremely grateful for this opportunity to come here completely free. So it's been amazing, and I'm really glad that programs like this exists for students like me.
And I personally am so grateful that you are here because you are the very first Flex student that we have ever had on the podcast. It's so cool to be able to finally talk to somebody from your program.
Amazing.
I'm so excited. Yes. And for a little bit more context for our listeners too, it is very challenging to get into this program. It is a very, very low acceptance rate because it is so prestigious. And I know it has a ton of different countries that it pulls students from for acceptance. So the fact that you were able to get in speaks a ton to just your merits and the type of student that you are. So I'm curious, what was the application process like for you for this program?
So thank you so much, first of all. And actually, it was a quite long process. First of all, we had to for the application, it was like a big form, and I had to basically say everything about myself, all the activities I've done, all the sports, extracurriculars, and I had to write a lot of essays, and most of those essays were about my motivation for this program, like why do I want to be here, and how do I think that it will help me. And then after those long essays, there was an essay in person, which actually all the applicants that got through the first round, we all got together and we actually wrote an essay in real life. And we had to write 3 essays in 45 minutes, which sounds challenging, but the questions are really reflective. And actually, it was really fun to write them. A little bit stressful, but I think I did good. And then we had an interview, which was first we had a group interview when me and 2 other students for me, maybe it's different for others, but we had an interview with the flex staff, and then we had individual interviews. And after that, I think that concludes my whole process. And after I've been confirmed, I had to do a lot of paperwork. So it was a long process, but it's definitely worth it.
Absolutely. I hear from a lot of students how nervous they get, especially about like the interview portion. And I'm sure there was probably some nerves for you going into that interview.
Of course.
So, so how did you manage the nerves going into the interviews, and how did you get through those?
Well, first of all, I think I'm a very social person, so it's not the hardest thing for me to do to talk to people. But since it's such an important moment, I was really stressful. I've been learning how to breathe, and I really breathe in, breathe out. I did all my breathing practices, and I took a moment to reflect and think, why am I doing this? How will this help me in the future? And I think this just kind of gave me reassure that I'm made for this. I have to do this and I can do it. So it's really just affirmations, and I think believing that you actually can do this, that's really helped me.
Great. And a lot of confidence that you have, and that's incredible. Is that sense of self-confidence, is that something that you would say comes from like your parents, or is that something that kind of is natural just to you?
I don't actually have had a really supportive community, and I think that really helped me. And back at home also, my parents were very supportive, and I'm so grateful for them and my friends as well. But I think that it's kind of just like in me as well, because always I've tried saying yes to a lot of opportunities and talking to people and opening myself up for conversation. And I think that that's really helped me. But also, I think the biggest part about my confidence is I learned here. Because to be an exchange student, you really have to open yourself up. You have to step out of your comfort zone, and you have to go and talk to people. And I think that really brings your confidence up. And that's one of the things that my exchange year has really taught me.
And did it take a lot of convincing for your parents to allow you to come on program, or were they on board from the get-go?
I would say definitely took a lot to convince, because first of all, since I didn't know about this program, this was just like kind of like an experiment for me. But as I went through the application process, I actually realized how important and how life-changing this is. And I don't think my parents realized that from the start as well. But once I started going through the tours, I passed round 1, round 2, and then I think my parents started to worry, and they actually started to realize that this is an important thing. So I started to try to convince them. And first of all, they were a little hesitant, but I really explained to them why this is beneficial, and they've been really supportive. And just because out of the love and the support that they give me, I think that's why they let me go on the exchange year.
That's wonderful. And I'm glad to hear that they ended up coming around to it and being so accepting of you and you taking this step. So you, like you said, you made it through round 1, round 2, round 3, and then walk me through that moment when you hear you got in. You're a Flex scholar now.
Actually, I got a call when I was still a little bit after school, and it was a long day, and I was so tired, and I was genuinely shocked. I was so shocked. I couldn't actually believe that I got in, and I feel like my hands started shaking too. I was so excited, and I was so actually happy. And I started thinking of all the things that will happen to me in the future because of this opportunity. And I immediately told my parents, and I think a couple of tears came out too, because I realized how life-changing all of this is. And it was one of the most memorable moments in my life, definitely.
I can't even imagine what that's like. That's such a whirlwind. So then after you find out, what happens after that? It's essentially, do you wait to hear about your host family placement? Like, what sort of preparation goes into your life after that?
So before the actual waiting process, there's a lot of documents that we had to do. There's a lot of business that needed to be taken care of. And then after I did all the documents, and it was the waiting process, and it was a little nerve-wracking. It was a little exciting. It was all emotions mixed into one. But when I actually got the call for my placement, it was like all the waiting, it was worth it because my placement is one of the best you could get. I'm so, so happy. And it was actually, yeah, it was really exciting.
Wonderful. Yeah. And so when you got that call, the second call then that you got your placement and you have a host family, how long before you arrived to the United States did you get that call?
So actually, I got the call in about, I think it was June or July, but for
Okay.
a lot of exchange students, it's different because it takes a
Mhm.
lot to find a host family because they're volunteers and they're really opening their home up to completely different people that they don't know. So it's definitely a long process. And some of my friends even got it like a week before we left, but I actually got it right before my pre-departure orientation, which was in Latvia, and we took it with Estonian and Latvian students too. So I got it right before the PDO, and I got to share of my amazing placements. And yeah, and then like about 3 weeks from that, or like a month, then I actually departed in August.
Did you get to know your host family a little bit then before you arrived?
Oh yes, of course. We had multiple calls. The first call I had was with just me, just getting to know the family. And then the second and third call was with my natural family and the host parents. And it was really nice. And I think we all got along so well. And they had that kind of like mutual understanding, like as a parent to parent. And it was really nice to call them and actually see what kind of family they are before coming there. And they've been a gift. They're the most amazing.
I'm curious, when you're an exchange student and you are talking to people who are going to be hosting you for this period of time, what sort of questions do you ask these people to try to get to know them? Like, what goes on in your head when you're talking to them?
Oh, I was actually so nervous before my first call, and I had a notebook and I wrote 2 full pages of questions that I could ask. And I did a lot of research on social media, on Google, everywhere of what should I ask my host parents. But after I did all the preparation and I was nervous, it actually was easy. The conversation flew freely. And I feel I don't even know if I asked all the questions, but a lot of them were just basically about their like household and what kind of rules they have. Like, what should I expect? Then I asked about school opportunities, what kind of school would I go to and what kind of opportunities they have. Then, of course, I talked to my host sister and I asked them about their interests, about what do they like to do for fun. Basically, just any question that felt natural of what you would like to know before coming to live with someone.
Yeah, totally makes sense. And I'm sure you had some sort of ideas or maybe a few expectations of what it was going to be like in the United States before you got here. So, did you have maybe sort of an idea of what to expect before you arrived here? And was it at all different?
Kind of, actually, because I was, of course, researching about the US and their culture, and I knew that it would be very different. And I started to prepare myself for all the differences that I would face in culture, in the education system mostly, because schools are extremely different in Europe and the US. So I tried to prepare myself for that and about how different people are. Especially, I've heard about how Americans are very open and they're social and they like to talk to people. They like to have small talk and they like to really express their feelings. And I feel like that's a nice thing I learned before coming here because it was true. People are amazingly friendly here, and I just can't. It's such a change. And I come to school, I talk to a bunch of different people, and it's amazing. So I did do a lot of preparation, but actually, I don't think you can ever prepare for what's coming to you. And the exchange year, I think it can surprise you in the most amazing ways.
Yeah, I like that. How much it's like what you're saying about it surprising you in amazing ways. And so, speaking of surprising and amazing ways, the moment when you hop off the plane, you're in the United States, and then your host family is right in front of you. What was that like?
Well, it kind of happened a little bit different for me because my host family was actually, because it's a very busy airport. So they were kind of like waiting for me like outside the airport, and like already in the car we have to be very fast. So when I first got off the plane, I don't know what happened. All the emotions just burst into me. I don't know. I started crying. I just started hyperventilating, but not because I was sad, but because I was so excited. And I didn't realize what kind of change I'm making before actually going on that last plane and stepping off of it, because I had to take 4 planes to get here. And I really didn't realize what am I doing until the last plane. So it was just all the emotions bursting into me, and it was such an amazing moment. I tried to control my emotions, but once I got into that car and actually saw my host family in real time, in a real place, not on the phone, not on the computer, it was crazy. I just burst out crying, and they were so confused. They were like, "Why are you crying? Are you sad?" And I'm like, "No, I'm not sad. I'm so excited." So that was kind of what it's like for me. Just a bunch of like a whole roller coaster of emotions.
My gosh, it sounds like out of a movie. It's overwhelming and wonderful. I'm sure you must have been exhausted after 4 flights. Wow. I'm sure like one of the first things you did was just crash and immediately go right to sleep.
Exactly.
Yeah, that jet lag must have been intense.
Because I was used to traveling, because I did like a lot of traveling around Europe, but I never really experienced that kind of jet lag, even with like time zones. But this one was crazy. Like for the first week, I don't know why, but I slept a lot, and I got tired around like 6 or 7 p.m. And I got really tired and I went to sleep early, but then I would just wake up in the middle of the night. And it was so crazy because like such a time difference. It was so like surprising actually. So yeah, the jet lag was definitely an experience, but it's all worth it.
Yeah. And eventually you adjust for sure.
Yes.
Especially those first couple of weeks, trying to get used to those new time zones, waking up in the middle of the night. It's disorienting. It is a lot to get used to. And then trying to go to school on top of it. I cannot imagine what that was like for you. So let's get into that. I'm sure you had an idea of what American high schools are like, thanks to pop culture. So did it live up to your expectations or ideas of what you had in mind at all?
Oh, it was better actually. Because I did watch a lot of movies. I love movies, and ever since I was little, I watched like those movies where American high schools are depicted. And I saw these big spirits, big hallways, a lot of people. And what I really noticed in movies is a part of like those cliches, like those group of people that they're just like in a group by themselves and they don't talk to anyone. And that was so false. That was so false.
Yeah.
There are no mean girls at our school. There are no like, of course there are groups, but they're not just excluded like just to themselves. They're really, really open. Everyone was extremely friendly. Like the first week I went, first day I had already found people to have lunch with, and they showed me around. They told me about the school, what kind of people are here, how do they act. And it was really amazing. People were friendly, and I think they made that change a lot easier. And I don't know what I would do without those friendly people. So the first week of school was definitely just hard adjusting and navigating through different classrooms and finding out what extracurriculars I want to do or what's. So it was a little bit overwhelming, definitely. But the people that I met definitely made it easier for me.
That's fantastic. And I'm so glad that you were able to find such a welcoming group of people in your school so quickly. Exchange students who are they're in their school for their first week and they're maybe a little shy or they're trying to learn how to make friends. Do you have any advice for them on how they can go about trying to maybe open themselves up a bit and be a little more open to making friends?
I think the most important place where you can find friends is definitely extracurriculars and clubs and sports, especially sports, because in sports, you're doing the same thing and you're having the same troubles. And I think sports just really brings people together. And since in American schools, the classes are a little bit different because you have a class, basically every class is with different people. So it might be a little bit harder to make friends in school, especially in like classes. but I
Mhm.
encourage the future exchange students to definitely join as much clubs and sports as you can, because I found most of my friends in those clubs. And I think
Mhm.
just try to be open, try to really immerse yourself in the school culture, and just say yes to every opportunity that you get, and just talk to people, because usually they're very, very friendly. And if they're not, then that's not your issue. Then you will definitely find people that are friendly and that will help you and that will make your exchange year better.
Thank you. And especially that part about if they're not friendly, they're not for you, those aren't your people.
Mhm,
That's the key. That's the key part there. There are some people who are going to be like that. Don't let that
mhm,
discourage you. Please don't let that
exactly.
discourage you. Those just aren't your people. And that's totally fine.
Mhm,
There are other people out there. I'm just really curious because I will admit I am quite ignorant when it comes to knowing a lot about like Lithuania and Lithuanian
mhm,
culture, especially the Lithuanian school system. So
mhm.
I am curious about the differences that you notice between the US school system and the Lithuanian school system.
Well, there are a lot. There really are a lot. And first of all, I think that Lithuanian schools were really focused on academics and exams. And I think that leaves a little bit less attention to like clubs and sports and like extracurriculars. Well,
Mhm.
Lithuanian students, a lot of us are athletes, but we usually do it outside of school, and we do it something that like it doesn't associate with our school. And in American
Mm.
schools, their sports and extracurriculars are really encouraged and they're incorporated into the actual classes. So, like, for example, I did cheerleading, and it wasn't just after school, but it was my seventh period too. So I
Oh.
really love that it's really encouraged and it's like actually a part of the school. And the football games we had and basketball games, it was really a big part of American culture. And we don't have that. Although, well,
Yeah.
we do have some, but it's just not the same. And then
Yeah.
with classes, in most Lithuanian schools, we have a class, like a group of people, and we go through the same classes together. So we're
Mhm.
with that group of people from, let's say, if high school, then you're basically taking almost all the same classes. Because we don't have we have a lot of variety of lessons, but we don't
Mhm.
necessarily have like a lot of electives, because we're really
Mhm.
like academics based. And what else? Well, it's just different like in the school spirit too, I think. And
Mhm.
oh, and we have most of Lithuanian schools have uniforms, which is something
Mhm.
I've gotten very used to. And in my American public school, we don't have uniforms. So now I have to think about what I have to wear every day. And I was so frustrated about having a uniform back at home. But now I
Yeah.
realize how much stressful this is picking an outfit every single day. Yeah.
Yes. Oh my gosh. That is something that I think a lot of students who come from schools that are all uniforms, like uniform based, they don't think about it and they're all excited because they get to come here and they don't have to have a uniform and they're all excited about it. And then they don't realize it is an overwhelming choice to pick out
It
your
is.
outfit every single day. It is,
Mhm,
especially if you're somebody who cares about what you wear and wanting to look cool
mhm.
and wanting to look like and put together a really great outfit. It is stressful. Okay.
It is.
I am so glad you understand.
I do.
I remember way back in the old times when I was in high school, it was the worst. Either way, I feel seen. Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
Oh, but okay. So yeah, there sounds like quite a lot of differences between Lithuanian
Mhm.
and the US school system. And
Yeah.
I'm glad that it sounds like you were able to adjust right away. And it sounds
Mhm,
like you were able to really get involved with extracurriculars and
mhm.
cheer with being a big one. That's really exciting.
I
What are
know.
some of the other extracurriculars that you got involved with?
So I'm actually in VPN, which stands for Vikings Production Network. Viking is our mascot
Hmm.
of my high school, and it's a video
Hmm.
production and basically filmmaking. And it's class and it's like a club also. So I'm really involved with that. And I think I actually found a
Cool.
new passion for filmmaking and for acting too.
Cool.
Because I've always wanted
Yeah.
to, as I mentioned, I really love movies and I really wanted to work in that kind of industry. before, but it was like a long time ago. And at school, I was so busy with my sports and my academics that I really didn't like get into it. But now I found a new passion and I love it. And we've been going to competitions. We recently went to an eighth grade event that eighth graders could come and they could see the electives of different high schools. So I was working at the booth and I was filming the whole event as well. And recently, a couple weeks ago, me and my team actually won a competition and we won best overall film in the Stanko Film Festival. So I'm really happy about that. It was a 5-minute short comedy and I was one of the lead actresses and it was amazing. So I really, really love it and I'm extremely involved with that.
Well, congratulations to you and your
Thank
crew.
you.
That is incredible news. And who knows, maybe we'll be seeing your name in lights one day.
Maybe, I hope.
That would be incredible. Well, that's so exciting, discovering all these new hobbies and new interests while you're on program and discovering cheer and acting. I'm assuming cheerleading is also not necessarily a big thing over in Lithuania. I could be wrong though. Maybe it is. Maybe I'm wrong.
No.
All right. So what was that like for you?
Well, in Lithuania, I've heard of the concept before. I think there are some youth cheerleaders out for like basketball games, but I've never actually seen it like in action. I've seen like cheerleaders at our big like basketball games because Lithuania is big on basketball. We're the biggest basketball fans and we're good at basketball, and I really miss the culture of that. So yeah, but I've never really like heard of like seeing of like cheerleaders in Lithuania, but in school, no, I've never even like heard of it like personally, like in my school at least, no. But I saw it a lot in movies and those movies about American high schools, and it's been amazing. It's always been like a dream for me, like actually be a real cheerleader cheering in games and football and basketball. And I really, really love cheer. And I found a lot of friends in cheer. The girls are so nice. They're the nicest. They're the sweetest people ever. And actually, football was like one of the most amazing experiences. I mean, like football season and cheering for that was mind blowing. And also, then after football season, I was so sad that it ended, but then I realized that we still have basketball season and Lithuanians love basketball. So I got to see actually like games up close and cheer for them and keep the school spirit up. And I really felt like a part of the school then, and it was amazing. I really enjoyed being a cheerleader.
Wonderful. Oh my, I mean, man, you just really threw yourself right into like the school culture and the school spirit. I mean, it sounds like you're just really part of the school community. I give you props.
Thank you.
I know that is incredible. I know that's what we tell the students to do and we really encourage it, but I don't feel like as many of them really take the advice to heart like you have. So
Yeah.
I give you a lot of props for really throwing yourself into the school community as much as you have and just giving it your all. So props to you. That is incredible.
Thank you.
And I'm so glad you're making the most of it. And also along with like football season, I know one of the big football games that happens every season is like the homecoming football game, which comes with the homecoming dance.
Oh, yes.
So did you get to participate in your homecoming dance?
Yes, I did.
Nice. How was that for you?
It was amazing because we don't really have school dances like this. I mean, I've heard of them, but I've never actually been to one. So actually, the dress shopping was really, really amazing. It was very fun. And actually going and seeing like my friends all dressed up and looking so beautiful, it was so cool. It was so amazing. It was really fun. And we danced and it was just amazing. And the football homecoming game was also very big. They had these kind of like, I don't even remember what to call them, like these big, big posters, but like on wheels. And they did like a whole presentation for each class, like juniors, seniors, freshmen, all of them. And it was such a big sight. Like it was amazing. It was one of the best things I've ever experienced.
So cool. Oh my gosh. And it really sounds like your school in particular is really big on school spirit. That makes it all the more better, in my opinion, too.
It does.
When you're placed in a school like that, then you really get to get into it, which is awesome.
Yeah.
along with that too, you've been there for, I'm assuming, a few holidays and are able to participate in some holiday traditions with your host family. So what were some of the holiday traditions that you were able to experience with your host family?
So I really like Thanksgiving, and in Thanksgiving, I got to see the part of the basically like the extended family of my host family, and it was really nice meeting them. And they were truly one of the nicest people I've ever met, and we had so much fun, and the food was so good, and it was just I really liked it. And also New Year's, experiencing New Year's was amazing. And oh my gosh, Halloween! How could I not forget that? Halloween was crazy for me because it is like it's not such a big thing in Lithuania. But in here, it was who I saw everyone in the streets. They were dressed in costumes and they were really doing their best. And I got so much candy. I eventually got sick of it, but it was amazing.
Oh my gosh, that's so
yeah.
cool. Oh my gosh. And were you able to share any sort of Lithuanian holiday traditions with your host family as well?
I think I mostly shared my traditions through food. I made a couple Lithuanian desserts and Lithuanian food for them, and they actually really enjoyed it. And I really talked to my host family, and I told them not just about our traditions, but like about our history and why we're so close and why I miss also my country. And I really like showed our traditions through that, like through my storytelling and the desserts.
Gotcha. Is storytelling a big part of Lithuanian culture?
Kind of, maybe it's just kind of a part of me too.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
I think because we've been through like a lot, and we have such a long history because we're our language is one of the oldest in Europe and I think in the world too. And I think we just have a lot together. And that's why we're also like united.
I think that's really cool too. The US, with it being kind of like compared to some of the other countries out there, with us being kind of like a younger country, you don't have that really old, rich tradition with compared to like Lithuania having such an older, like a really long tradition, having such an history to be able to talk about, be able to share about. I mean, that was one of my favorite things about being able to go to some of these European countries, walking around and like the buildings that you're walking around in are like 1,000 years old. And it's mind blowing. How can something be this old? It just blows your mind. You don't really see things like that in the United States. So I'm a little jealous of you all over there in European countries like that. I'm maybe a little bit of a history nerd. So things like that, I'm very jealous of. But it's great that you're able to pass on your culture. That's what cultural exchange is all about, right?
Oh, and also one more thing, we recently had a holiday that's basically only for Lithuanians because I haven't really heard any other countries doing something like that. It's called Užgavėnes, and it's basically like a kind of like holiday to scare the winter away. So because it gets cold in Lithuania, and this holiday it's been through, I think it started even like in the pagan times. It started a long time ago. And it's just basically everyone dresses up, but like they dress scary. Like we wear these masks and then we like dance and we kind of like just scare the winter away. And also it's pancake day as well. Then a lot of people do like we eat pancakes on that day as well. And so I made on that day I made pancakes for my host family as kind of like to remember my culture and to like honor that holiday.
Oh, that sounds so cool. So YFU USA's headquarters is in Michigan, which is a state that gets very cold and very like we get buried in the winters. So maybe we need to incorporate that sort of holiday to scare off winter here.
Oh, yes.
I don't know about the rest of my office coworkers. I'm very sick of the winter here. So maybe we need to dress up scary and make some pancakes to make winter go away. Lithuanian culture here to scare off the winter.
Oh,
that sounds like an incredibly fun holiday. That sounds like a really fun holiday. I love that.
It is.
Not to like bring the mood down, but I'm sure that there have been maybe some challenges that have happened while you're on program. Because I'm sure it's not always the easiest thing being an exchange student. I'm sure that there have been some harder times. So have there been any sort of challenges that you've had to overcome and that you've triumphed over while you've been on program?
Mm-hmm. Well,
Yeah.
when I was learning, when I was in pre-departure orientation and they told us what to expect and everything, they gave us this kind of like spreadsheet, and it was this
Yeah.
wave of adaptation. I don't believe what exactly was it called, but it was basically like a curve of how like your exchange year could go. Of course, it's different for everybody, but for me, it was really accurate. So the first month,
Yeah.
it was like, wow, it's so amazing. Everything is new. Everything is different. I want to experience it. I'm meeting new friends and everything. And it was like such a paradise. And then after a while, when I adjusted, it kind of like started feeling like it's become a part of my routine now. And I really love it here, but sometimes it does get lonely because moving to the other side of the world at 16 is definitely one of the hardest things that a person could do. And it does get lonely sometimes. I miss my family. And sometimes just those cultural differences make me feel like I like don't belong, or maybe it's not my place. Like I feel unsure. But when I talk to my host family and when I call my natural family on the phone, I feel like it all gets better. I've been adjusting all the time that's passed. It taught me a lot, and it taught me how to get through those hard moments. So I reflect and I remember what I'm here for, and that I'm doing such a large thing that not a lot of people can do. So really just I reflect on those moments and I get through the hard parts. And there's definitely a lot of them for exchange students, but I believe that it is possible to go through.
Awesome. Yeah. And I know that wave you're talking about, it's like, can't remember the exact name for it, but essentially it's like the roller coaster of like
Yes.
culture shock and adaptability.
Yes.
And it's not exactly linear, and it kind of comes and goes in waves.
Exactly.
Sometimes it's totally normal for every exchange student's experience. But it sounds like between your host family and your natural parents, you have an incredible support system that's able to get you
I
through.
do.
But more importantly, it sounds like you are incredibly resilient and you are really good at remembering what is important and reminding yourself of what you're here for and being able to really stick through it. And I really want to commend you for that. And because not a lot of students are able to do that. So I want to give you a lot of credit for that and just give you your kudos because you deserve it. That is
Thank you so
really,
much.
really great.
Thank
No,
you.
you are quite the young lady. I've talked about it before. I have not studied abroad. I haven't done this. A lot of people think like when you work in exchange that you have. I haven't, unfortunately. Hearing all of your stories and hearing just the bravery that you all experience. I mean, I'm just in awe of you all. I don't know if I could have done it at your age. I don't. I mean, hearing the challenges that you all go through and going through the culture shock. I mean, I'm in amazement every single day of what you all do. So, I mean, I give it up to you. And I'm so honored to get to talk to you all and get to learn from you.
Well,
Enough
that's
about me.
really sweet.
but, but it sounds like you have gone in this bit of time that you have been on program, you have gone through some incredible moments and you have had a great time and it's not even over for you.
It's not.
So, which is even better. So, I mean, what would you say has been the most surprising thing or like the most unexpected part of being on program for you?
Unexpected. Well, I would say definitely the culture shock was a very big thing to me. And as I said, like all the school traditions and how different people are, it was very different for me. But I've heard that the US is called like a melting pot of cultures. And I can admit that it is definitely true. I think that was the most surprising thing for me because I see all these different people with different cultures, and I started to think of what can I learn from their culture. And it's been really amazing seeing all these people, and I think it's one of the best things about being an exchange student. And yeah, definitely seeing all the different things in the world that exist.
Yeah. And how would you say from just your time being on program so far, would you say that your perspective on your home country of Lithuania has changed at all from being on program?
I would say yes. Actually, I feel like the more time that I spend away from home, from my home country, I feel like I start to appreciate it more. And
Yeah.
I didn't think about it because I was comfortable. I was just living in Lithuania and I was feeling nice, but I didn't like stop and think how grateful I am for my country and all the things that we've been through. And I'm
Yeah.
starting to appreciate it more. Maybe not like really seeing it differently, but just being more grateful of where I'm from and being really proud of my countries. I think that's what's changed for me regarding Lithuania.
That's wonderful. And again, another thing I really want to commend you for, just not like having that level of perspective and being able to appreciate the little things and appreciate where you come from. At a
Mhm.
young age, I know a lot of people wouldn't be able to do that, even while being on exchange like you. So, again, more kudos to you.
Thank you.
And would you say that your perspective on the United States has changed at all since being here?
Definitely. Definitely.
Yeah.
I didn't think of it negatively in the start, but there are a lot of stereotypes in this world, and there are a lot of stereotypes about the US as well. And I didn't
Yeah.
know whether I could believe them or whether I should believe them, but I really didn't pay much attention to it. And I came here partly because I wanted to experience the actual US and not what social media says or people say that have never even been to the US. So I think it's definitely changed to a more positive outlook. And it's so diverse that you can't even tell like a stereotype about a place because there's so many different people in here. And the US is so big. It's extremely big. And it's just wrong to say stereotypes about a country when it's so big with so many different people and cultures and diverse backgrounds. And it's just been amazing. And I've started telling people to not believe stereotypes at all because most of them are not true and stereotypes are a big thing on social media. So I started to believe the things I see on social media less, and I just came here to experience everything by myself.
I'm glad that this was able to kind of change your mind a bit and show you a different side of the US. I'm definitely aware of the US stereotypes. I mean, how could you not be, especially on social media?
Yeah.
And I mean, you were absolutely correct about how different it can be. Even just in the same state, how
Mhm.
different one person can be from one part of the
Yes.
state versus the other part of the state.
Mhm.
I mean, it is crazy. You really have to experience it for yourself to see, honestly and truly. But
Mhm.
I'm glad that you were able to see that firsthand and see that it's not all that bad here.
Oh, it's
There's
amazing
some pretty
here.
cool people. But there's some pretty cool people here. I'd like to think so, at least.
Yes.
But again, like we were saying before, you were not done. You still have time left here, which is great. So,
Mhm.
what's coming up for you on program?
Well, I've actually done with cheerleading for now because the season
Oh.
sadly ended, but
Mhm.
I'm considering taking up another sport, but
Oh.
I don't know yet, but I'm actually thinking of maybe trying out softball or maybe swimming because
Oh.
I don't know, I want to try, as I said, like say yes to all opportunities and try as much things as I can. But actually,
Yeah.
a lot of things are coming up for my also the VPN, the filmmaking class, because
Mhm.
we're going to participate in a lot more contests and
Mhm.
competitions. So I'm really excited for that. And also have
Yeah.
maybe a couple trips waiting for me because
Oh.
where I live in my city, we're kind of like in
Mhm.
California, we're in the middle of all the big cities like San Francisco,
Oh.
Santa Cruz, Sacramento, and it's like an hour and a half drive to all of them around. So we're actually thinking of maybe going to LA, and this is a trip
Nice.
that I've been dreaming about for years. So I really hope that we can actually fulfill that dream. And I'm really excited for what's about to come. I'm just really sad that it's coming to an end, but I'm trying to experience
Yeah.
as much as I can and just have fun.
That's so exciting. And you got placed in California where like every exchange student like wants to go, you lucky duck.
Exactly.
Dang, lucky you. And I believe prom season is coming up too, if I recall.
Oh, yes, of course. How could I forget about that?
Yeah, that's exciting too. I'm sure that'll be so exciting. That's always another one of my favorite times of year for me personally when all the exchange students show all their
Mhm.
prom photos. I love that part of the year. I'm so excited for that. I can't wait to see all of that. I hope that you're excited for that.
I'm really excited. I'm actually going dress shopping this weekend, so I'm really
Oh my
excited
gosh,
for that.
that's so great. Well, you have a ton to look forward to. You have so much to be excited for.
I do.
But it's so crazy how much you've already done, how much you have to look forward to. You have accomplished a ton. You have even more to accomplish. I mean, I don't know how you can keep it all straight in your head. I'm having trouble keeping track of it myself already. But when you end up getting back home in Lithuania, what's next for you then?
Well, I still have to finish high school, and I can figure it's going to be hard because a
Yeah.
year of all these experiences, and I just come back
Yeah.
and it's the same routine that's always been. So I can definitely tell that it's going to be hard, but as right now, I'm going to adapt and just try to make
Yeah.
the most of it. And then I'm trying to, well, one of the reasons why I also came here is because I wanted help with figuring out what I want to do in life, actually with my career. And because
Okay.
I've had trouble navigating what I want to do, I love so many things. I've tried everything and I'm still not done trying. So maybe I was hoping that maybe this year could give me more time to figure it out and maybe try it out. And I think that it has helped me. And I'm still not 100% sure, but I really love filmmaking. And I may be hoping to do something like that in the future.
Yeah.
I have to finish high school still, and then after I really want to travel abroad because I've really fallen in love with exploring the world, and I've fallen in love with California 100%. So maybe one of my options could even be coming back here and studying in the United States, but
Yeah.
I'll see where my life takes me, where the path goes, and where I end up. I'm really excited to see.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you have so much time to figure it out. There's a whole big
Mhm.
world waiting for you out there. And I can't wait to see what you do. And I mean, I personally think we're going to have you on for a part 2 to see what happens after exchange
Oh,
and
I'd be
see
delighted.
what ends up. Yeah. And I catch up with you a year later, or who knows, however
Mhm.
long later, see what happens, see what you're up to, and see just catch up with you and see where life's
Yeah.
taking you after this. I would love that. So consider this your pre-invitation.
Thank you.
Yes. So do you have plans to keep in touch with your host family already when the program is over?
Oh, of course. Of course. They
Awesome.
become like a second family to me and my friends as well and my whole sister
Yay.
because I've never actually had a sister. And now she's actually become like my real sister. And I really hope that I can be in touch. And I 100% know that we will be keeping in touch with my friends and my host
Awesome.
family. And I'll probably never forget them. It's been amazing. They've opened up their home to me and they showed me all these places and they've been like really a second family. So I'm really grateful for that. And I hope that we can still keep in touch in the future.
That's incredible.
Have you ever thought about bringing the world into your home?
With YFU USA, hey, that's us. You can. By hosting an exchange student, you'll experience a new culture right in your own home.
It's an incredible opportunity to make lifelong connections and help a young student discover the American way of life.
Visit yfuusa.org to learn more about how you can become a host family today.
So for maybe a listener out there who is considering studying abroad, maybe they're on the fence, maybe they're a little scared, what advice do you have for that student?
Do it. I don't even know how to describe it. Just do it. It's one of the best things that you can do in your life, especially as a teenager. It opens up so many new doors. It changes your personality even completely. It gives you confidence, resilience, adaptability. It's truly one of the best things that you can do in your teenage years, and I encourage everyone to try. I encourage everyone to do it and immerse yourself in the culture and try out new things.
Yeah.
And I have this motto in life because I watched a movie when I was little. It was about a man that said yes to everything with Jim Carrey starring in it. And I've really taken that to heart. So please say yes to everything, to every single opportunity, and do it. Do the exchange year. Like, you won't regret it, I promise.
Incredible. All right. And then I guess my final couple of questions before we unfortunately wrap up our time. Is there anything that you want to plug at this point? Any sort of projects, any social media, anything like that?
So actually, I'm doing social media. I'm doing TikTok. So if you want to, everyone, please go follow Dominyka.abroad. And it's just a page about how my exchange year is going and tips how to get into the program and basically just what I'm doing. And so if you want, go check that out. I'm also posting on Instagram as well a little bit. And please be sure to check it out. And thank you very much for your attention.
Yes. And I will make sure to have links to both those pages in the show notes so you can follow her and keep up with all of her adventures and get all of her wonderful tips and all of her advice. She's got lots of it, and you are definitely going to want to listen to her. I hate that we're wrapping it up. I don't want to stop talking. But
Yeah, me too.
as a final sort of question, until the next time we talk.
Of course.
I know we have talked about so many things and we've talked about so many incredible memories and so many wonderful moments that you've had, but is there any sort of standout moment or funny memory that you have from your time abroad so far that really stands out to you that we haven't talked about that you'd like to share?
So I've had a lot of specific moments that happened that are really memorable to me, like going to my first NBA game and winning the competition for my film, and going on trips like Sacramento and Santa Cruz, and San Francisco was one of my favorite cities. But the moment that I really want to talk about isn't such very specific at all. I think the moment that I really want to accentuate is the moment where I realized that I'm starting to belong in here, and that the community, the people around me are starting to feel like a second family to me, and that I'm not regretting this decision, and I will never regret it for the rest of my life. And I think that was one of the most heartwarming and memorable moments is when I realized that I really do belong here, and I've adjusted and I love it here. So that was the moment that I really want to remember.
Yeah. And when was that? What was that moment like for you? When did you finally feel that?
Actually, I think it was in one of the holidays, actually, and when we were celebrating New Year's. And because I had some of my friends there, and I had my host family, and I just felt so supported and so loved that it was such a heartwarming moment. And I really realized that I do belong here. And being an exchange student is probably one of the best things that I've ever done in my life.
That is so heartwarming. That's such a wonderful moment. What a great moment to end this wonderful story on. Dominyka, thank you so, so much for sharing your story with us and for talking with me. And I cannot wait to see what the future has in store for you. And I hope that we get to chat again very soon.
Of course, I hope so too. Thank you very much for the invitation.
It was my absolute pleasure. And so until next time, that has been this episode of Life Exchange, Stories of Understanding. I've been your host, Kelsey Ross. Until next time, bye.
Listen to Life Exchange, Stories of Understanding now on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, and wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts.